Hello everybody, Sorbeaten here and welcome back to another past paper video. In this video, I will be tackling some algebra questions, so let's head straight into them. So the question says, factorize completely. So we have xy to the third power plus x squared y. So let me write back that we want to factorize that question. So the first one we have xy to the third power plus x squared y. So here's the thing, whenever you want to factorize, people tend to mix up factorization for some reason. These questions are giveaway, so you just want to remember what we mean by factorize. Factorize means you're expressing, for example, this expression as a factor multiplied by another factor. Something multiplied by something. So factor, you're not solving, you're not doing anything fancy, you're just trying to pull out the common factors and multiply that by what remains. So it's basically one factor times the other. So let's go. So let's look at the common factors here. So first of all, we see x is common in both. X to the fourth power is the highest common factor for x. So we factor out that x. And then we see y is also common in both. So we factor out the y. So when you factor out xy from here, we're left with. So you can do xy to the third divided by xy. So this x will go with that. This y will go with one of this. So this will be left with y to the second power plus, when you factor out xy from here, we'll have x to the second power y all over xy. This y will go with that y. This x will go with one of this x. So we're left with x. So when we factorize this here, it's xy outside y squared plus x. Let's go to the other one. So 2, we want to factorize this as well. So we'll have 2mh minus 2nh minus 3mk plus 3nk. So we want to factorize this here. So what we'll do, we have 4 terms. So we'll just pair them off. So I'll put everything, pair off everything. And then I look at the first bracket and I see what is common. First of all, I see 2. The number 2 is common, so I'll factor out that 2. Then I see h is also common, so I'll factor out the h. So I'll factor out the 2h. So I'll factor out the 2h from both terms. So when I factor out 2h from this term, I'll simply be left with m. Minus when I factor out the 2h from here, I'll be left with n. And then I look at the second bracket. So I see I have a negative here, so I'll factor out that negative first of all. And then I see I have the number 3 common, so I'll factor out that 3. Then I see I have the variable k in common, so I'll factor out the k. So when I factor out the negative 3k from the first term, I'll be left with a positive m. And when I factor out the negative 3k from this term, I'll be left with a minus n. So how can we check to make sure our answer is correct? We just distribute back throughout and we should get back what is at the top. So you want to do that in your own time to make sure that whenever you distribute here, you should get back what is at the top there. So we'll work this out now. So we have the 2 brackets being the same, so we know we are doing something correct. So we'll take what is outside the bracket, we'll put that in a bracket. So we'll have 2h minus 3k in a bracket, and then we'll have m minus n in another bracket. And that is how we factorize this expression here. So let's move on. The next question says, the table below shows corresponding values of variables x and y, where y varies directly as x. So we want us to calculate the values of a and b. So it says y varies directly as x. So y varies directly as x that is represented as y is equal to kx. This is how we represent y varies directly. If we said y varies inversely, it would be y equal k over x. But they said directly, so this is what we're working with. So when we're dealing with variation, the important thing that you want to find the value of k. K is the first thing you should go about finding. So how do we find k? By taking 2 values of x and y that you already know. In this case, look, when we look at this table, we see we have x is 2 here and y is 12. So we can find the value for k by using those 2. Instead of y, we'll have 12 is equal to k multiplied by x, which is, in this case, 2. So to solve for k, it will be 12. This 2 is multiplying, take double divide. So 12 divided by 2 is equal to k Hence k is equal to 6. So 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. So k is equal to 6. Now to find the value of a, we'll use the same equation. So we see a is y, so we can say we can use back y is equal to kx. So we know y would be a is equal to k. We found k to be 6. So it will be 6 multiplied by x. In this case, x is 5. So this would be a would be equal to 6 times 5 is 30. So the value of a is 30. And then we're going to find the value of b. So we use back the same equation, y equal kx. So in this case, we know y would be 48. So y would be 48 is equal to k. We found k. That's why it was important to find k first. So we see k is equal to 6 multiplied by x in this case, which is b. So we solve for b. So this will be 48. So this 6 is multiplying. 6 is multiplying. You take double divide. So 48 divided by 6 is equal to b. Hence b would be equal to b would be equal to 8. So the value of b is equal to 8. So that would be our value for b. And with that, this has brought me to the end of this video in which I tackled some questions on algebra. I looked at variation and I looked at factorization. So I wanted to use these concepts, practice them, practice again, and then practice again. And I'll see you in the next video in which I'll be tackling some more questions. Until then, keep practicing and take care.